Everybody, welcome to Too High, a the Summit podcast
Right.
with me, Wayne Memmott. I'm your host, stand-up comedian Wayne Memmott, and we've got with us Ohmar Gibson, our other co-host. Ohmar, what's up, man? How you doing?
I am doing great, sans all the tech issues in my
Yeah.
life right now. So, if you're wondering why you get another double episode, it is tech issues. So,
Yeah, so we recorded a whole episode last week that we thought was really great, and that doesn't matter to you because we closed out of this app before it was finished uploading, so we lost the episode. That's a bummer, and now we're here, and this episode is supposed to come out today. You're probably listening to it tomorrow when it comes out, and again, tech issues kept us from recording this weekend. We've got it patched together. We've got it figured out. But don't you know what? I have to take care of my baby in a few minutes, but not take care of. I don't think dads take care of. I think I just, I'm responsible for my child while my wife is not responsible for our child anymore.
usually.
But we are here to talk about episode 6 and episode 7 of CBS's non-hit reality show, The Summit. I think we love this show a lot. Ratings are bad. They are pushing it every which way they can. I was watching the challenge and they did a preview for the summit last week on the
Oh, wow.
challenge. So they're like, hey, if you like the challenge, maybe you should watch this other show you might potentially like or whatever. Joke's on them.
What?
The challenge isn't on Paramount Plus. So these people aren't watching it on Paramount Plus. They're watching it on YouTube TV or recorded some other way. So,
Yes, or like me, where you pay for the seasons on Amazon Prime and you don't get commercials, so I didn't even know they ran that ad. It's hilarious.
dang, you pay. Oh, you the challenge on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it's like $20 or so, something like
Yep.
that, and I just get all the episodes. Like it works.
Oh, for the season? That's not bad.
Yeah.
If that's like the only thing you watch, yeah. If like we use YouTube TV, so we just have to record through the ads or like forward through, and the Apple TV remote is so unresponsive to YouTube TV that it's like very, very, very frustrating, and I am so mad that it's not on Paramount Plus ad free. But that's neither here nor there, nor not this show. We're going to talk about the
Yes.
summit. So like I said, we got a short time, so we're going to kind of rip through it. We're going to focus more on the last episode that happened, but we're going to go back to episode 6 because we already said all of our words. You just don't get to hear those words. But
Unfortunately.
episode 6, yeah, unfortunately, it was good. Dennis, you did not look good. I know you're listening because you listen to everything. But basically, the episode can be summed up in there was another rope bridge. Nick is scared of heights. Theron's scared of heights. Amy is a badass and thunder thad her
Yes.
way across those ropes, like absolutely, definitely getting rope burn on her legs. And Jenny got voted
Yes.
out because her leg's about to fall off.
Yep. That's it. That's episode 6 in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
Episode 6, yeah, alliances didn't matter. Jenny was pretty much voted off, but it was between Jenny and Dennis, and Jenny got voted off. And the
Yeah.
alliances were more formalized, which we will talk about in episode 7. So,
Yes.
episode
One more thing
7.
in 6 was they kind of, at the end of
Oh,
6, set up the whole Amy versus Nick thing that didn't really take
yes.
shape as much as I thought it would, the way they laid it on there in the last episode.
Here's the problem with this show and why Survivor got easier, it seems, over time, is because when people are actually exhausted, it is hard to play a mental game like this, and the easiest route is to just play numbers. And it's like the producers are trying to tell these stories that like kind of probably didn't really happen up there because they're literally climbing a mountain every
Yeah.
day for 14 days. And most of these peoples probably don't take regular walks, right? So like half of the people, they walk when they go to the grocery store. That's their exercise.
Yeah.
So
it's
this is
just,
hard.
yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah, I was about to say it's really like it's like they really are kind of like pulling threads to try to see what kind of storylines we can get out of here. And it's just weird because I'm wondering
Yeah.
like what did they leave on the cutting room floor for them to decide to still leave this in if it's ultimately not going to go anywhere. Maybe it'll go somewhere in the next episode, the whole Nick versus Amy thing. But even the previews didn't really give that off. So
No, I don't. I don't really think that they. I don't think that that's going to be a real threat because I don't think Nick has it in him to be against anybody. So I don't think there'll be a conflict.
yeah, same with Amy.
So
She's like in this episode still cheering Nick on so as he's doing things because like we start with the
yeah,
whole they got to get across the lake and they're dropping the boats. The mountainskeeper drops the
yeah,
boats and somebody got to go swim
yes,
out and get it.
yeah. Let's get
And
into
Nick
it.
decides
Let's
to do
let's
it.
get into it. That's a perfect place to start. Yeah. So we've got this beautiful, which I will say about this show. Shot so beautifully. I mean, it is an
Yes.
incredible show to watch. The scenery, where the production has set these people up for their like big camp shots has all been very cool and unique. I want to give them a ton of props because this show is, I know, not easy to put up. It's not just renting a house in California and letting a bunch of celebrities run wild for 2 weeks. It is like
Right.
health and safety of all of these people while they climb a mountain, and also it's a TV show, right? So we
Hmm.
have criticisms because we want it to get better, because we do like it, and it is beautiful. This is probably the best place that they've been so far. Manu's there, and he's like, "You guys got to go across that lake. How you gonna get there?" Mountains keeper, whoa, she, thank you very much. I'm a hero. She is coming to drop some boats, like you said. And who is the hero? They drop them, those boats they could have dropped them at shore, like
Yeah.
for sure
They
could
could have
have,
just put him a
but they
lot
dropped them
closer.
like 30 feet. Yeah, yeah, they dropped them
Yes.
30 feet in the water and it's 33 degrees out there. So
Yes.
one person, who's
Tragic.
our hero?
It is our good old
Who's
boy
our, yeah.
Nick, the alpha of alphas, out
Yeah.
there to prove that he's the
Uh-huh.
man.
Most alpha.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
mean, he took it like a
Um,
G. I would have did it.
yeah. Well, and he's doing. Man, I don't know. I don't know if people could do it. I think there's probably only three people there that could probably do this because that is tough to do. But he goes out and he knows what he's doing. He's building goodwill. He's
Yeah.
He's telling people, I'm a part of our team to get us all up there. I'm not just playing this social game. I know you saw me fight with Amy. And I think this might have, like, I don't think they focus on, I think this had a lot to do why that kind of fizzled out. Because Amy's not going to look
Mhm.
good fighting with the guy that went out and got their boats.
Yeah, yeah. That makes it actually a good point. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about it that way.
Right. Right. So he goes, everybody starts getting a fire. He gets back. They get him, they have four boats and they split up into four teams and they started paddling across. Pumpkin
Mhm.
says what we're all saying. She says that out loud that this is beautiful. Um,
Yes, it like you said,
what
it
else?
absolutely was. And we had like Dusty and Amy who's doing the whole. Oh, you're the. It was fun. I did have something to say about that. It was funny because earlier in the season we got a lot of confessionals of Dusty. Kind of trashing Amy and her ability to get up this mountain, and now they're in the boat
Yeah.
together, and suddenly she's his favorite person. Or yeah, she's his favorite
Yeah.
person out here. He's great to
Uh-huh.
have this moment with her. This is his favorite moment. Wonder how Amy watches
Uh-huh.
this show. I wonder, like, I wish I could see her perspective on all of that.
Well, I want to talk about what Dusty said because he wasn't he like he told a story of his dad where he's like he struck out in like little league baseball and he
Yeah,
like
his
started
dad is his
crying. His dad
coach.
like grabbed him by the shirt. Yeah, his dad's
Yeah,
coach like, "Don't you cry? You don't cry." And it's like, "Whoa, hey dude, that's not a story you should tell people lovingly. That's like if that's the first story you're telling about your dad, I don't even want to hear the second one. That's awful. I am sorry that you had to go through that. That sounds terrible. If that was a solo
yes.
incident, that still sounds terrible, but I hope it wasn't.
Yes, some serious emotional growth being stunted there by not being able to express yourself by crying. I
Yep.
unfortunately do know a lot about this because I was quite a bit very sensitive kid. I'm a Pisces, and both of my parents are
Yep. Me
Pisces, so I'm
too.
like a super Pisces, and I cried a lot. So they could tell me don't cry
Yep.
because it was just happening all the time anyway. So.
I'm a crybaby. I'll own it. So feel your feelings, man. It's good for you. You know, it's
Yeah,
not a weakness to show, especially your children. Hey, you can have emotions. It's okay. It's how we deal with
yeah,
them. You know, and
yeah. It's temporary. It'll
not
pass.
having them is not dealing with them. Yeah. So they paddle across to little to no fanfare. You know, I'm sure they
Yeah, I mean, it
struggle
was
and
a little
whatever.
funny
It's
seeing if it actually panned out to them not being able to make it. I would love to see the
it,
consequences with Theron and Jamie. Theron and Jeannie, who was just spinning around in a circle,
GD.
just rolling in a circle, and left. I'm just like, at some point, you got to go right, babe. But it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I wonder how long that took. I bet it was like 45 minutes. And they get across, and they basically are, you know, you got to go up and then down. So they got to go up, and it's a big up.
Uh-huh.
It's not an easy
Yes.
up. Amy
Uh-huh.
struggles. Everyone gets up, you know. People kind of,
Yeah.
they show more worry about Amy, which made me kind of start to worry about, oh no, is this like a boot episode for Amy? Like that. I wrote down like, oh no, I hope this isn't Amy's story where she just like struggles so hard on this uphill climb that they're like, ah, she can't do it, you know?
Similarly, I did feel that it did. But like at first, it was more so like I wonder if they set this up for the next boot out because I think even
Hmm.
before we see her struggling, they give us the note before they head to the challenge of this challenge. There are consequences to not being able to do it, and I was just like, ooh.
Hmm.
I wonder if, or
Hmm.
actually, I take that back. It was this point where I thought it was actually they were setting Amy up to be the one who couldn't do the challenge,
Yep.
and
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. So they climb up and then they're greeted with the easiest really thing. I mean, the zip line. I know initially you look at it, you're like, God, immediately I'm like, man, how is Amy going to do this? But 15 seconds is not that long, especially when you're motivated to not fall down a chasm. Like you can, and they had the knot, the proverbial knot that'll come into play later.
yes.
So I was like, okay, you can kind of, you can, most people can keep that, for that short of a time. And Nick goes first because he always goes first. And he's like, right, it was Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 You
Nick
got the
goes first and
Faces Fear Heights first.
yep. So basically, their strategy as a group was send the people across that we know for sure can do it so they can count how long it is because then the slow people are probably motivated if they can do a countdown because it's like, oh, it's only 5 more seconds. I can do it for 5 more seconds. It's 4 more seconds. It's three. Like when you have a countdown clock, it can give you that strength to hit the goal. But if you don't know how long and you're just like going and, you know, kind of see how fast it goes, all that stuff. So everybody
Yeah,
gets
I think the
across.
only real strategy, or at least I felt like it was strategy, was when they were talking about who's next, and Punky was like, Dennis, you want to go?" And it was very early to the group.
Hmm.
And as soon as he goes across, she's
Yep.
like, "We're voting him out next, right?" Like just to kind of get that
Yeah,
moment
exactly.
solidifying a vote. Which I love that for you,
Yeah,
girl.
Punkin used the challenge to play the game. That was really cool gameplay in this, where it's like, oh yeah, I think Dennis should go. Guys, we gotta get this motherfucker out. So Jeannie is the first to fail. Amy hasn't gone yet, and I'm like, oh no. And Jeannie, God bless her. I think she just wasn't kind of prepared for it. I think she can do it. I think if she had been able to have a practice time and then do it, I think she probably does it. I think this was just like a mental error. I don't think this is a physical error on her part.
They literally said it. Pumpkin and Becky were talking about it. She was like, the longer she stays there at the end, she's getting in her head more and more about it. And I feel like you seen that when she
Yep.
went to go because she didn't even hold on for more than like 3 seconds. And I'm like, I know Jeannie's like an
No.
older lady. She's really skinny, but I'm pretty sure she could probably hold herself up for more than 3 seconds. And I'm not gonna lie though,
Yeah.
the way she's kind of been playing the game and the way they were setting this up narratively, I'm like, I would not be mad because they put it in the preview like, oh, if you can't get across, you're going home. I was like, oh, she failed. This is perfect for me as a viewer because if she goes
Yep.
home, the votes are against Dennis. Dennis can get out of here. And I was like, I don't really, in strategy games, I don't really care for the person, the super wishy-washy person that never kind of solidifies where they are within a group type of situation. I feel like Jeannie
Right.
has been that. But, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she is definitely the floater of the whole thing. And, I kind of, the way they'd cut one of the previews, which I maybe half watched, but made it seem like if they fall, they go home. And I was kind
Yeah.
of under that impression watching this. So
Same.
I was kind of assuming like they're just going to cut and then you're still going to get to camp and still have to vote someone out because we need to like I'm waiting for them to force some people out of here. So we're down to 2 or 3. I don't think it's just going to be even every vote we vote somebody out. And so I thought this might be one of those where it's like, hey, only one person fell. Producers like, you're gone. If it had been like 5 people fell, they're like, okay, well, change the game. You're all up for nomination or whatever. But we don't know what happened. She
original
falls.
plan because of the way that they set up the vote, where they were like, "Oh, well, you failed. You don't have a say in the vote." I think they did that because she was the only one who failed, rather than if it was multiple people, they'd have been like, "These are the people you have to vote for."
Right. Oh yeah. I was kind of hoping they were just gone. Manu was just like, you fell, you're done. See ya. But that's not what happened. Jeannie fell, and then Amy goes last. She's the last one to
Yes.
go, and she holds on to the rope, and she is flying again. It's a moment. She has these heroic moments, and it's because of how they've sold her inability to do these things. But then you see her like change the strategy to get across the ropes, and like this, like she's holding on for dear life, and at the end, she falls. I mean, she's a foot away from the ground, and she falls. And we're bummed, and we're all like, all right, they have to vote out Jeannie or Amy. God, that sucks. Dennis is around. They're all clipped into the rope. And we get the 4th wall break. We get our first non-host, non-cast member appearance on the show. The safety coordinator comes out, and they tell us, Amy, our bad. You get to go again if you want to, which is still hard because she still had to use strength to do it, and she's got to get back over, and it's mental and all that stuff. And she's like, I'm going to do it again. And the knot at the end of the rope broke because of how many people and all the weight on it just failed at the end. So they got a fresh
about
rope.
to say that. Like, I wonder if that's what it was.
It had to have been just everybody hanging on to it, and it just keeps, it hadn't been tested like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially with, like you said, all of those people going across, and then you put, Amy, who's probably the heaviest, just weight-wise, like, person at the end, like, that was not going to hold that in all those people. So I'm glad they let her try it again. Like, I was super happy they let her try it again. And even happier that
I was too.
Did it like a boss. Like, Adventure Time Amy was killing it.
Adventure Time Amy, that's it. I just had, I don't know if you've seen I Think You Should Leave, the Tim Robinson sketch show on Netflix. But there's a sketch that he does where it's like a bachelorette situation, and his character, him and another guy are up for elimination, and the bachelorette's like, Tim, I think you're just here for the zip line, and it just cuts to him in the house pool just using the zip line over and over and over again, and like it's very funny. So the whole time I'm watching Amy go, the second time I'm like, she's just here for the zip lines, like that's it.
That's why I feel like I heard that somewhere. I heard that somebody else referenced that somewhere. I definitely heard it.
Yeah, no, it's if you haven't watched it, it's very funny. Yeah, my favorite joke is she's like, well, you weren't even coming to dinner, so when we told you had to come to dinner, you just ate really fast and went back to the zip line, and it cut to him just like shoveling chicken tenders in his mouth, like, yeah, fine, whatever, and then he runs back to the zip line. So, anyway, a very funny sketch.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
So then they get across. Let's see what happened next. Where are we at? Cool shots of them going across. Oh, so then they come. Oh, the helicopter shows up. That's right.
Although one quick thing about just the challenge before we move on. I believe this is where we get the biggest Theron freak out for his whole heights thing. And
yep. Oh yeah.
Good for him that he has Pumpkin on this mountain. Every overdramatic friend, hello, I am the overdramatic friend, needs a Pumpkin and Pumpkin in their life to tell them, hey, you won't die. You will get through this. Just calm down. You're just having a moment, and I want to see you do it.
Yep.
It was everything for them. Just wanted to point that out because I love Pumpkin.
Agreed. That was the top. Dude, I'm telling you right now, after this, I'm getting scared of a Theron quit. I really, really am getting scared of a Theron quit. I hope I'm wrong, but man, they keep focusing on him. And this one, he's like, I don't even know why I'm doing and it's you could see he's kind of defeated by it. It's but they show Pumpkin be like, yo, you don't get over your fears. Yeah, you don't get over your fears. You just get through them. That's it. Getting over your fear is that you are afraid of it and you still did it because you knew you were safe. You fought that battle in your brain, and that time you won. And that was really cool. We also kind of get the breakdown of the alliances here. We kind of it's kind of clearly defined. It's Amy, Becky Lee, Dusty, and Pumpkin, and Dennis, Jeannie, Nick, and Theron is kind of, I think Theron and Jeannie are kind of more mobile votes, but I think they're pretty, stuck with Dennis and Nick.
Yeah, because you see, I feel like every time they had a conversation about voting, you will see Theron go to Becky Lee immediately. And it was interesting that they kind of seemed to say that they were not aligned. So.
Yeah, because even though Nick and Becky Lee aren't really aligned, they basically had the conversation of who are we going out tonight, and they both had reasons. Becky Lee thinks Jeannie's a wild card and Amy's dangerous, and Nick is Nick wants to keep Dennis, but Becky
I wonder
Lee
if Becky
said
Lee
Dennis is
that
an issue.
With Jeannie being a wild card, I wonder if she's the kind of person to say, well, maybe I could use that card and keep that kind of, tucked in the vest for when I need to vote somebody out at these next two checkpoints.
Right, exactly. But I think it's very clear here, when Becky Lee's you can't stick your head out for Dennis. It's all right. But then it's good on Becky Lee, because if these are the alliances, she's just won the votes for the rest of the time. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, who's going home. I mean, my power rankings changed after tonight that it's Jeannie, Nick, Theron are the vote outs potentially. So, I think Amy, Becky Lee, Dusty, and Pumpkin are in for the ride. And so
that is funny. I literally had the same 3 on those next votes. That's great.
Yeah, So they find out that Jeannie loses her vote and is nominated automatically. And that's it. The rest of the time we just kind of get to camp. Um, and Manu's like, okay, who else are we gonna nominate? And Amy nominated Dennis. Amy's like, I think we should nominate Dennis, which clears shows that she's running some shit. Like she is the weakest of the people climbing, but she's running some shit. She's the mouthpiece.
Yeah, like capital really means something when you are a big personality like Amy in a situation like this.
And Amy, and Dennis was like, well, I nominate Amy. And so nominated Amy, and everyone's like, okay. Ooh, okay. Okay, Dennis, cool.
Mondo specifically did say that it had to be two other people that they would nominate along with Genie. So that's why they...
Yeah, I feel like they're figuring out the rules for voting. Yeah, I feel like they're figuring out the rules for voting as they go along. Because it seems like every time we get down to a vote, it's like sometimes they get to go check. Sometimes it's like we nominate and we vote. Sometimes there's like stipulations. It's like, it's just interesting, because like kind of at Survivor outside advantages, like it's always the vote, like people do lose votes and people have different advantages and stuff like that. But like, no, but they're never like rarely are they coming into tribal. And it's like, now you have to vote for a woman or, like where he just like changes it up. And this one, they're kind of directing the vote.
Yeah, and I mean I do think though, like even if they didn't, we probably still would have got the same result at this point.
It would have. I even think it would have been like, who's going to get nominated, and Amy goes Dennis, and Dennis goes Amy, and then it's the same vote.
Yeah,
essentially. I don't think.
Go ahead.
It just shows that Jeannie's like punishment or disadvantage is not. She actually gets to keep her hands clean in voting out Dennis and saying like, well, I didn't vote you out, even because she had an alliance with Dennis and she's, she loses him, but she didn't do it. She had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, like she could have potentially been in that Amy position where she's always defending the wrong, or she's always on the wrong side of the vote, quote unquote. But I wonder if people would have seen that hand go up, maybe if some other hands would have just been like, well, I guess we'll vote the same, Dennis. Because I feel like that's something that'll happen in those type of situations, like the way they vote here.
I do hope that if they do this show again, that they take the vote to a private vote. I think you'll see more strategy come out and more backstabbery if it's a private vote as opposed to a public vote. Because if you're worried about people being able to figure out who voted for who, they always do it on Survivor. They'll figure it out. But I think a private vote, you could play with the advantages a little bit better, things like that. You can, I think the private vote would really help the show.
Yeah, I'm going to say at least room for Dennis to really Dennis up the game if it was a private vote rather than a public one.
Yeah, I think we'd see the alliances be...
We don't have to worry about him no more.
Yeah. So basically, those are the people up for elimination. Manu goes, anyone voting for Jeannie? None. Nobody. Again, Jeannie and Amy provide a lot of moral support for these people that think they're the alphas. And then it's who wants to vote for Amy? Dennis. Who wants to vote for Dennis? Only hand that
goes up, and man, I screamed out loud. I don't know if you are familiar with the term gagging, but I was absolutely gagging when he was the only hand that went up, because the look on his face was just, this is the moment that I needed for my life. Justice for Jeff, finally.
Yeah. Dennis says, I respect the blind side. Bro, this ain't a blind side. Just because you're blinded doesn't mean it's a blind side. Nobody liked you. He wanted to play dirty. It's like, dude, you played the dirtiest game. And I know you thought you were the king of the vibes. You're not. And
also, he had a line saying about how hard it is to kill a cockroach. As somebody who came from the projects who knows something about killing a cockroach, it's very easy to kill a roach. You just step on it, okay?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's
a bunch of them you can't.
Yeah.
It's the infestation you can't kill. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, he said he was misunderstood. And Dennis, I'm telling you, we understood exactly who you were.
We
But
got it.
you were fun to watch on TV, and I really enjoyed you. And I really hope we see you on another show. I would love to talk to you. Like, we're friendly. We roast people. That's part of the show. It's all in love. We love
Yes.
everybody on this show. We want nothing but the best for everybody. So if you want to come on and chat with us, we'd love to have you. I do
Yes,
do
was
think
very
we see him on
serious in those.
something.
Yeah, I do. I love a person to root against. Just because of rooting against, you know what I mean? It's not a hate thing, you know, like some of these irrational fans that
Right.
watch these shows. It's just part
Yes.
of the entertainment. Like, you don't want to watch a show
Yes.
where you love everybody and you're constantly rooting for everybody. Maybe some people got big hearts like that
We-
and that's their bag. But for a reality show, strategy show, it's not it.
Right. Yeah, we come from the class of Jonny Fairplay, and that is, we're making a TV show. So thank you, Dennis, for making a TV show, because it was fun to watch
Yes,
you. Fun to hate you. Fun to watch you.
Yes.
I'm sure you're a great guy in person.
Love watching you get lit up.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so I guess we should do our power rankings.
Yes.
Real quick.
And some quick
so
math. If they was to end this right now, this is $124,000 and $362,000 apiece. That is a good chunk.
Oh, nice. All right. That's a good joke.
Had to
That's a
do
good
the
joke
math
of
this
change.
time.
So last time you thought Amy was next to go. I thought Nick was next to go. That was we thought that brewery was that battle was coming. Next we had Dennis and Dennis. We were lockstep. Then Jeannie. Then you had Nick and I had Pumpkin. And then you have your money line being Theron, Pumpkin, Dusty, Becky Lee. And I have Amy, Theron, Dusty, and Becky Lee. I think I'm pretty close to that, but I don't know the order anymore, but I could take a stab at it. I think I'll just take a stab at the order. I think next we are going to see. I think next we're going to see Jeannie, and then Nick, and then Theron will be the heartbreaking last person to not make money, I think. And I think Amy, Becky Lee, Dusty, and Pumpkin all make the money. So the thing I changed about last time is that I had Theron making the money and Pumpkin not making the money, and I think that is going to swap.
Okay, I remember that. So we have here, because I went back and looked at the map, we have 2 more checkpoints before we go. So that means I think that is like just under 175K a piece. And I think that puts us with 5. I didn't write this part down, and I think I left my actual power.
Yeah,
ranking
no,
across the
that
room.
would put us at 5. If only 2 more people are getting voted out, then that would put us at 5.
Okay. So that means that by the seat of his pants, if he can get through his fears, that means Theron makes the money line, because I did also have Jeannie and Nick being the next 2 to go. I feel like we did get Becky Lee saying something about the paranoid players getting voted out for a reason that last episode. And I think that was to set up Nick's vote.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a Mountains Keeper cut. I think we're going to land at 4, because I think there's going to be, I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I have a feeling there's going to be a Mountains Keeper cut. I have a feeling there's going to be a failure and it does mean you're out or something. I just have a feeling that there's going to be a Mountains Keeper cut.
I like that. Again, a thing I didn't even consider, because I thought this episode they teased us with it and didn't quite give us that. So I'm like, maybe they won't go that far. But that's interesting. They gave us one at the beginning of the game, and they could give us one at the end. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be devastated by it, because it's going to happen to somebody that we like, and it's going to be devastating that a rule or a producer or a part of the game that's not controlled by the people playing the game takes them out. I would be very frustrated by that. Voted out, that's one thing. whatever. But as
I
long as
usually I
they're
land on the
told
side of
before.
like, yeah, go ahead. What
Oh, I
was
was gonna say, as long if it is a failure on a challenge that takes them out, as long as they're told beforehand that they go home if they fail, then I am okay with it.
Okay, yeah. Similarly, I was about to say that, and if it's like, I land on the side of if it works for the storytelling of the episode, sometimes I can get behind these kind of producer interferences. Like this episode, if Jeannie was to go home and hold on, my nose just oh Jesus, Bobby, you don't gotta leave that in. If Jeannie was to go home this last episode for falling off, I was like, okay, that's okay because it sets up the vote in a way that I would have been entertained by. But so if something happens like that to where somebody fails a challenge and it works within the episode, as far as like the strategy of it all, I'd be okay with it. If it's somebody I like, then yeah, I'm gonna hate it.
Yep.
I'm a fickle fan.
Yeah. Well, I think that does it for this recap. It was short and sweet. We'd love to hear what you guys think. If you're seeing something differently than what we're saying, put it in the YouTube comments. Reach out to us on Instagram. I'm at Wayne Memmott on Instagram. Omar, are you on Instagram?
Yes, the one OG, not very active, but we'll do better at that. I
Maybe one day. Tag him.
Come in.
Yeah. And this is all part of the Reality After Show network that is run by Jonny Fairplay and company. We have Survivor coverage every single Thursday morning, right when you wake up. We record directly after the episode on Wednesdays. That's me, Matt Bischoff, Jonny Fairplay, special guests. We have the Patreon episode every Monday, which is Jonny and Matt. It's their Q&A. You can ask them questions. They always have fun special guests on. We got Talking Survivor. They had Boston Rob on an episode. You can go back and find Jonny and Matt talk to Boston Rob, which was wicked. We got 2 challenge coverage shows, one with Bryson Wen. We got one with Alex Trias, Dan Monchel, and Polly Calafiore. We got Kelly Wentworth-led Survivor podcast. Rachel Riley and Jen Hoffman have their Bachelorette and reality television coverage and casting. And kind of, if you want to catch all on reality television, their podcast is incredible to listen to. And Rachel Riley is going to be on Worst Cooks in America coming up. They just announced that. So if you are interested in Worst Cooks of America, I'm sure Rachel's going to have a lot of insight into that whole process and that whole show. We're very excited for her. Check out everything at Reality After Show. Follow the feed. You get all the podcasts coming through. There's so much going on and more on the way. And if you are into Survivor, Jonny Fairplay is doing viewing parties. I don't have them up in front of me, but if you go to survivortix.com, that'll have every one of them up. I know we've got some in North Carolina. I think we're planning some in Cincinnati. He's got a finale party coming up, I think, in LA. So lots of fun stuff that Jonny Fairplay is doing. And we'll be back with you. Follow us here. I'm at Wayne Memmott. That's Ohmar Gibson.
OG on all the things. Yeah.
And we're on YouTube. Follow, like us, comment, make us feel good. It's all that helps. We love you guys. We're too high. We'll be higher next time. Sorry, it's like midday and I got kid duty, so I can't. I got to be a responsible father first. Good high podcaster, but responsible father first. So, smoke 'em if you got 'em. That's the catchphrase for the week. We love you guys. See you next time. Peace.